The grid is down. The food is gone. The bullets are real. And the person standing next to you, right now, is more dangerous than any roving gang on the highway. Not because they're evil, but because their personality type is a loaded gun, pointed at the group's collective head. In a crisis, character doesn't hide, it amplifies. The quiet flaws that were manageable during Sunday barbecues become suicide pacts when the world stops. You can stockpile all the beans and bandages you want, but if you haven't audited the personalities inside your own survival circle, you are already dead. You just haven't stopped breathing yet. Most people are scanning the horizon for strangers. You will look at the faces around your own table. Subscribe so you never miss this. Stay for Type 6. The one that smiles, agrees with everything, and will trade your life for a half-empty canteen the moment you fall asleep. The systemic lie is that disaster brings people together. It doesn't. Disaster strips the polish off, and what's left underneath is the raw, uncut personality that's been hiding behind a 401k and a streaming subscription. The people who can't handle a flat tire without a meltdown will not suddenly become stoic warriors when the sewage backs up and the gunfire starts. The 6 types you are about to recognize are not monsters. They're your neighbors, your relatives, maybe your reflection. And in week 1, they will put everyone in a body bag. Number 1. The hero. The hero struts into the collapse with a puffed chest and a head full of action movies. They want to be the one who kicks down the door and saves the day. The problem is the hero has no tactical patience. They'll engage a looter instead of evading. They'll pick a firefight over a retreat. They'll die gloriously in the first 72 hours, and they'll often take 2 good people with them because someone had to drag their bleeding body back behind cover. The hero mistakes bravery for strategy. In a survival group, you need the gray man who moves quiet, avoids contact, and only fights when escape is impossible. The hero is a candle that burns bright and fast, and their funeral pyre is your safe house. Expel them from leadership. Give them a task that humbles them. Digging latrines, watching the rear, sewing clothes. If they refuse and charge the tree line, do not follow. Number 2. The denialist. The denialist was the one who, 3 days ago, was saying, this will all blow over. Now the streets are on fire and the water isn't running, and they're still talking about when the police get things under control. They refuse to ration because it sends a bad message. They won't fortify because it looks paranoid. They keep trying to use a dead cell phone, and they talk about the government like it's a parent who's just running late. The denialist is a liability because they will not adapt. They will eat double rations to maintain normalcy. They will leave a door unlocked because we're not animals. And they will weep and wail at the worst possible moment, drawing every hostile ear within a mile. You cannot reason with the denialist because they are chemically addicted to the old world. Give them a single, simple, repetitive job. If they cannot accept the new reality, isolate them from critical decisions and never let them stand watch. Number 3, the parasite. The parasite is the charming one, the one who shows up at your gate with a smile and a story, empty-handed but full of promises. They'll pay you back when this is over. They'll help out around the place. What they'll actually do is eat your food, burn your fuel, contribute nothing, and slowly drain the group's morale like a slow leak in a tire. The parasite survives by manipulating empathy. They target the kindest member of your group and turn them into a food source. In week 1, they're a house guest. In week 3, they're a 5th column. If someone contributes 0 labor, 0 security, and 0 resources, they are not a survivor. They are a predator wearing a victim's face. Expel them early before the snow falls and you can't afford to feed an extra mouth. Your compassion has a calorie count. Number 4, the tyrant. The tyrant was waiting for this moment. The collapse didn't break them. It gave them an opportunity. Within 48 hours of the lights going out, they're making declarations. They're seizing control of the food supply. They're issuing commands and threatening anyone who questions them. The tyrant confuses cruelty with strength and obedience with respect. They'll take the best rations for themselves. They'll execute a stranger without due process and call it security. The tyrant turns a survival group into a miniature police state, and eventually, someone cracks. Either the tyrant kills a dissenter and sparks a civil war inside the camp, or they alienate the very people they need to survive. A survival group is a coalition, not a kingdom. The tyrant forgets that a leader who eats first sleeps alone, and alone, in the apocalypse, is a death sentence. Vote them out, peacefully if possible. If not, fracture the group and leave in the dead of night. Number 5, the panicker. The panicker's nervous system is a live grenade. Any stressor, a strange noise, a shortage, a tense silence, sends them into a spiral. They hyperventilate, they cry, they scream. They'll bolt into a dark forest because they heard a dog bark. In a firefight, they'll freeze or run into the open. The panicer's emotional state is contagious. Panic is a virus that spreads through a group faster than any pathogen. One person losing their mind in a confined space will shatter unit cohesion in under an hour. The panicker cannot be reasoned out of a panic attack. The logical brain is offline. You must physically contain them. A firm hand on the shoulder. A low, steady voice. A repetitive, simple command. Breathe. Count with me. Breathe. Give them a non-critical task that involves rhythmic motion, grinding grain, chopping wood, folding bandages. The panicker is not weak. Their nervous system is misfiring, but until they learn to control it, they cannot be given a weapon or placed on watch. Number 6. The sociopath. This is the most dangerous type and the hardest to spot because they look like the perfect survivor. Calm, collected, utterly rational. The sociopath sees the collapse not as a tragedy, but as a marketplace. Every interaction is a transaction. Every face is a resource to be used and discarded. They'll trade the group's water for their own safety. They'll steal medicine from a child because the child is a drain on resources anyway. They'll smile at you while hiding a knife behind their back. The sociopath's tell is a complete absence of empathy masked by a flawless performance of camaraderie. Never let a stranger into your inner circle without a vetting period. Watch how they treat the weak, the sick, the old. The sociopath will ignore them or resent them. The true survivor will protect them. If you suspect a sociopath in the group, share no critical information and assign no sensitive guard duties until you have observed them under stress. If they reveal themselves, expel them without warning and without apology. No second chances. The sociopath doesn't learn. They adapt their camouflage. Here is the reality the survival manuals will never print. The biggest killer after the grid fails isn't starvation. It's the human heart, with all its unchecked flaws and secret desires. The collapse doesn't create new personalities. It just turns up the volume on the ones that were always there. The hero, the denialist, the parasite, the tyrant, the panicker, and the sociopath. They exist in your life right now. Look around your breakfast table. Who gets angry when they're slightly inconvenienced? Who refuses to take responsibility for their own mistakes? Who talks about other people like they're cattle? The faces you see in peacetime are the same faces that will sit with you in the dark. Choose them carefully, and if you see one of these 6 in the mirror, fix it now, because the sirens are already playing for someone, somewhere, and when they play for you, your personality will become either your greatest weapon or your group's executioner. Now drop a comment and tell me this. Which of these 6 types have you already met in your life? Not during the collapse today. The coworker who panics. The relative who denies reality. The friend who takes and never gives. Write the number and tell me which one worries you most. Then, if you are building a group, share this video with them because the first step to surviving the collapse is knowing who you're standing next to. And in the next video, we are building the survival group from scratch. The 4 roles every group needs, from the medic to the scout, and how to test loyalty with a single, non-lethal, zero-budget exercise before the world gets cold. I'll see you there.